Now we've got one last session this afternoon, and it's a web bite session, which are small, shorter talks. And at the moment we've got one speaker, and that is Sheldon from Yimby by JustGiving, and he'll be discussing how crowdfunding now enables everyone to make good things happen in their community. So please welcome him to the stage.
Thank you, Olivia. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on a Sunday afternoon. And I'm no doubt the lure of a roast dinner and an episode of Downton Abbey was probably almost too much to resist. But for those of you here, thank you very much. And I know there's a number of people streaming this online as well, so welcome to you too. It's a real pleasure to be part of the Web We Want Festival. And to get to speak to you this afternoon about something I feel very passionately about, which is how the web is transforming philanthropy and hopefully expanding it too. For the next 10 or 15 minutes, I wanted to share with you my thoughts on how crowdfunding, powered by mobile technology and social media, is enabling new and direct forms of philanthropy, and how that now every single one of us has access to the online tools that make it more easy for us to make a difference in our community. Just check that the slides are working. Oh, back one. There we go. As Olivia mentioned, I'm team lead at Yimby by JustGiving, which is a community crowdfunding platform. We allow anyone to raise money to make good things happen. What we do is we enable any individual without being a registered charity to raise money for projects that will benefit the community as a whole or to help a neighbour in need. Whether that's bringing a community garden back into bloom, starting an after-school computer class, or raising money for a new wheelchair for a family member. We're part of JustGiving, which you may have heard of, the social giving platform, who over the last 13 years have helped thousands of charities raise over £1.8 billion. With Yimby, we're taking what we see as the next logical step and giving individuals access to the same kind of online fundraising tools that were previously only available to registered charities. We launched Yimby last November, and we've already helped over 1,600 projects receive £1.5 million in donations from the crowd. I'm going to share with you some examples of these projects a little later on, but first I wanted to explain a little more about community crowdfunding and how it works. So what is community crowdfunding? Community crowdfunding allows anyone with a good idea that will benefit the community to receive small donations from a large number of people who are willing to back their project. They create a crowdfunding page, explain what the problem is that they're trying to solve, why they care about it, how much money they need, and how the money will be spent, and when the project backers can expect to see the difference. We at Yimby then check to see that they make sure they are, we make sure that they are who they say they are, and that the project is genuinely for community benefit. And if we're satisfied, they then run a campaign, and they share their project URL with friends, family, colleagues on social media, via email, even in the local press. And people willing to pledge their money to support the project in turn share it with their networks, and it spreads out. If the required funding is achieved within a set time period, the pledges are processed as donations, and the money flows through to the project owner, who can then go about making that project happen. So it's a fairly simple process, and using simple online tools that most of us use every day. There's a lot of buzz around the term crowdfunding, in no small part because of the success of Kickstarter. But it's not really a new concept. What is new, in my opinion, is the internet will make it ubiquitous. You might be wondering why I'm showing a picture of Nelson's column. It's because prior to its construction in 1840, Nelson's column was actually part funded by public subscription. which I suppose was the 19th century version of crowdfunding. So it's fair to say that the concept has been around for a long time, people pooling their resources, small amounts of resources from a large number of people to make something happen that would benefit a greater number of people. And it certainly predates Sir Tim Berners-Lee inventing the web. What is new is that, as with so many things, the internet democratizes access to this kind of funding. The internet now gives anyone, any one of us, the opportunity to receive funding for their idea from other like-minded people who want to see the project happen. And particularly with the aid and prevalence of social media and mobile technology, the internet now allows these ideas to spread and receive funding quicker than ever before and across borders. The key ingredients that power the growth and success of community crowdfunding, and the slide is right, good, are mobile technology and social media. And I just wanted to share a few statistics with you from our platform that I think illustrate that fact. So 77% of visits to Yimby project pages are on mobiles and tablets. In the UK, at least, we are now rarely more than a few inches or a few seconds away from the internet, carrying, as we do, nearly all of us, smartphones in our pockets. And what that means when it comes to community crowdfunding is that we're able to react instantly, anytime, anywhere, to support the causes and projects that we really care about. Social networks are the primary means for project ideas to spread and build support. So much so that, in fact, 64% of traffic to Yimby project pages are from Facebook alone. By people sharing the causes they care about with their friends and family online, and in turn, those people sharing to their networks, crowdfunding projects build momentum and word spreads like ripples on a pond. And not only does social media sharing build awareness of these crowdfunding projects, but it also, crucially, brings in donations. In fact, every time someone shares a Yimby project page to Facebook, it results in an average of £13 of pledges coming back to the platform. But possibly the most important element that social networks offer to the success and growth of community crowdfunding, and why we spend so much of our time integrating our platform with the likes of Facebook, is that they offer social proof and with it trust. If I see that people I'm connected to have started or are supporting a community project, I'm far more likely to trust that that is something that I'll be willing to pledge my own money to and support. So imagine, if you will, for a moment, a web and a world where every individual has the tools available to them to identify small societal problems they want to solve, to communicate how they intend to solve it, and then within a matter of days receive funding necessary to fix or at least improve that issue from huge numbers of small donations from people all over the world. Imagine a web, if you will, where we're able to harness the power of the crowd for good. Well, the exciting thing is this is already starting to happen, and it's only just the beginning. By way of an example, I wanted to share with you a few of the stories of the people that we've been able to help over the last year at Yimby. So the first is Danusha. Danusha volunteers to help children and adults with an autistic spectrum condition in Brent, North London. She used Yimby to raise £370 to provide a dark tent and sensory objects which help children with autism feel calm when they've become slightly overwhelmed. The next is Sean. Sean runs a wheelchair basketball club called the Lancaster Bulldogs. He's incredibly passionate about giving children in wheelchairs the opportunity to play sport, and used Yimby on several occasions to fund new basketball wheelchairs and other important equipment for the club. And finally, this is Promise. Promise was a very talented student, but came from a relatively disadvantaged background in northwest London. She was fortunate enough that a local mum, Camilla, took Promise under her wing and mentored her through her A-levels. And she went on to do absolutely brilliantly. She got 3 A's, went on to study at Cambridge and received a first in English literature. which is quite an incredible story given her background. But thankful of her experience, Promise wanted to help other kids like her, and so used Yimby to start the Promise Foundation. That's a mentoring service that matches bright students from disadvantaged backgrounds with local young professionals who can offer them educational and career advice. Promise raised nearly £8,000 in 30 days, which is quite remarkable, which not only gave her the necessary funds to run a year-long pilot program, but also validated the idea for her new social enterprise and gave her a network of long-term supporters. And in fact, Promise and the Promise Foundation have now, if you like, graduated to full charity status, and they're a continuing institution. So I think we'd all agree that these projects, hopefully, are hugely beneficial to the communities which they serve, and that if there were only more projects and people like them, it would be a really great thing. So as long as platforms like Yimby can make it a safe and rewarding experience for donors, we believe that there's a huge potential to unlock the energy, creativity, and generosity of civic-minded individuals all over the world to make good things happen. And in so doing, I believe that community crowdfunding has the potential to unlock what you might call the long tail of philanthropy. Clearly, many of the issues that we face in society are too large and too persistent for an individual to be able to solve them alone. You know, whether it's discovering cures for cancer, or offering aid in disaster zones, or improving access to education in developing countries, charities have and rightly continue to be the primary vehicle of philanthropy. And they're also some of our most vital national and international institutions. These are the issues that are large and persistent, and they require continuous fundraising and the expertise of huge numbers of people in order to solve them. And that's why charities need to be established as organizations to do that fundraising and to deliver that solution. But it's also become clear to us at Yimby over the last year that there are additionally countless numbers of much smaller causes all around us every day that might otherwise go unresolved. These are either one-off problems. My neighbour might need a new wheelchair that isn't provided by the NHS, for example, or small and local enough, maybe the local football club needs a new changing room, that they can be solved by an individual if they're empowered by the right online tools. That's where community crowdfunding has stepped in, and we hope to give people with a project in mind access to more efficient tools to help them raise more money from more people, but also that we hope to inspire greater numbers of people to then in turn run their own community projects. The web I want, and I hope you agree, is a web which enables these amazing people like Danusha, Sean, and Promise to have their voices heard and unlock the power of the crowd for good. Thank you. Looks maybe we have got our second speaker. Guys, are we going to do a Q&A now, or is... Yeah, that's cool. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Hello. We are a technology business. We're a tech for good business. So the way we fund Yimby is that for projects that hit their target, we receive a 5% fee of those donations. And that allows us to invest in the technology. And we've got a small team of people that are supporting the users throughout the process. So we are a sustainable business model. And that allows us to offer this kind of technology to both charities with JustGiving and now individuals with Yimby.